Long live BF4. The last video I did proved to be full of memes and quite popular with you guys, so I thought I'd dive back in and create some more highlights for you. BF4 just keeps on delivering, man. It will never die. So today, of course, some more of that juicy gameplay, and this one is sponsored by Intel. The lovely chaps over there sent over a brand new gaming laptop with an 8th gen i7 processor in it, the 8750H, and that's a 6-core and 12-thread processor with a boost of 4.1 gigahertz. Wow, it's very light, very cool, and that processor will help me to play modern games on high settings anywhere that I please. So you could be playing BF4 in bed, cheeky, on a plane, living the high life, in a castle, starting to get medieval up in here, in the woods, it's a bit spoopy. I think there was some kind of pumpkin ritual going on down here, I'm not sure, man. Or even playing Battlefield 4, I'd say Battlefield 5 event. Now that is the meta right there, that's what I'm talking about. So if you want to know the frames per second, look in the top left hand corner as the gameplay goes on, and you can find out what sort of performance you can get with a gaming laptop on the go like this. And if you want to know more about Intel processors and the gaming laptop featured here, there's a link down in the description below. And also a link to a giveaway. Intel very kindly give me an 8700K to give away every month, and there's a link to that below if you're interested in entering. So then let's do this BF4. Now, I started out on some propaganda, great map, not on Chainlink though, that comes later, hold your horses. I wanted to play with the Scar H, but I accidentally spawned in with the engineer class because I'm an idiot, no bother. Check this out. Ooh, deleted, I'll take that, a quick acknowledgement of my success, and off we go. Tried a bit of a Kobe here, didn't quite pan out, but we got the kill anyway. And I'm really just trying to work around this central C flag. I'm not in the best of spots, mind you, but I do manage to get a guy in the centre and somehow stay alive. So I want to work down this alley in front of me, but it can be a bit of a death trap sometimes. However, I am a glutton for punishment, so I'll try to work my way back up the side anyway and get into what you might call a spot of bother. Thankfully, I am a wizard. I don't know if you knew that, and somehow I survived. Well, hide behind this box and utilise my mad skills to look through the gap to see if anyone is pushing me. And I wanted to talk about propaganda real quick because honestly I'm not sure that this map gets the credit it deserves. I think it's a really fun Battlefield map, and I reckon plenty of other people enjoy it too. It's got a bit of a linear design really when you think about it, but it doesn't really play too much like a linear map. For the most part, it's a great map to play as an infantry player especially. Chainlink works extremely well on it, as it should, but even in Conquest you can have a fun time with it. There are usually some tanks to deal with in the middle of the map, but no air vehicles to contend with on this one. There is however a large train that can absolutely crush you at any moment's notice, so watch out for that. And this part of the map is a good one for infantry. You've got a few larger buildings around B and then some smaller market type buildings at D, and you tend to move between them quite a bit. Moving between these flags and say C is a bit trickier because it requires you to cross the train tracks and the main road, which can leave you out in the open at times. So I'm pretty much trapped in here right now though. Ahead of me is the train tracks, and I know that there are a few enemies there, and I'm pretty sure that there are some close to my building too. So I'm just trying to stay alive, as the Bee Gees would say. No one will get that reference and I'm fine with it. And it was time to move across the road, probably towards E, so I'm trying to use the cover around me as best I can because most of the buildings around here were destroyed, which didn't help too much. And then just as I'm about to get to cover behind the wall, I get shot from a guy in the train tracks ahead of me. It's like I could see the future. Sadly, I did not predict a man would walk behind a bush and murder me. That one is still a shock to us all, but it still happened. Moving on, yeah, damn, I'm back in the side alley of death. What could possibly go wrong here? Well, two dead teammates in front of me should have given me some sort of idea what's going on. So I get into cover and then, ding, I had a light bulb moment. You know what, Jack? Why don't you just flank around? Wow, what a smart idea, I said to myself. Now, in doing so, I will admit that I tried to vault over the wall here, and then I remembered, hey, this is BF4, not BF1. Thankfully, after my embarrassment subsided, I got behind these guys and dealt with them. What I didn't deal with, though, was the three guys that then attacked me like a herd of wild beasts. I got two of them, and for a moment I dared to dream, but sadly, the last guy got me. And I think, you know what, that brings me nicely onto a little discussion about BF1 versus BF4. Not as a direct comparison, but as games that will live on in players' memories. I have a ton of fond memories of BF4. I can't remember how many hours I played of it on my own with friends, in competitive games, at LAN events, but more importantly, I just really enjoy going back to it now. It's not perfect, mind you. The vehicles sometimes frustrate the hell out of me now, but I enjoy the core experience. That being said, and this may change with time, I don't really see myself having the same appreciation of BF1 in 2 or 3 years. I don't have a real desire to play the game now after experiencing BF5. Will that change perhaps after some time? And I think, well, let's just jump on it for a few rounds. Maybe it will, but then I'll see 100 grenades light up the user interface and then probably not play it again. Even still though, I know lots of players do love BF1, and I like certain things about it too, and we have to admit that it's still moved the franchise forward in a lot of ways. High vaulting is definitely one of those ways. I can't actually believe how we coped without it now that we have it. Being able to vault over high walls and flank people is such a good thing, and because I've been playing a lot of Blackout recently where you can vault high as well, it's just something that I now naturally try to do, and it just doesn't make sense to me when I play multiplayer games and I can't do it. But back to the video for a second though, and this should amuse you. Absolutely KO'd by the Rawbot. Brutal, that one is going to leave a mark. Before we change to a new map, just a more detailed look at the sponsored laptop that we mentioned earlier. As I said, Intel sent this baby over. We've got the i7 processor in there, so it's great for gaming on the go, and you could also stream or record at the same time as gaming using a portable setup like this, and it'll be good for editing and rendering your videos too. And there's a GTX 1060 in there, 16 gig of DDR4, and also a 120Hz screen. So it's nice and smooth. And I'm always in awe when I get sent stuff like this, at just how far small components have come along and the sort of power that you can get from them. It's very impressive indeed. Moving on, we've got a small but sweet story of revenge. It starts off in such a simple way. I place down a spawn beacon, nothing much to see here, but then a tank catches my eye. And you know what? Because I've got C4, why don't I go and deal with him? He was quite distracted and he's got absolutely no idea that I was there. So that's an easy kill, I think. And it turns out that way. I place down the C4 gently on his war-torn armor and then make my retreat. Click the button, boom, claim the victory, only to be shot by a guy way up in the hills. Now I was pretty sad and I used the respawn time to compose myself, but wait, the spawn beacon I placed down, maybe, just maybe it's still there. And it is. I respawn in and I scan the mountains for my killer. And there he is, hunting another victim. Not this time though, but revenge is sweet. Lankang Dam, however, is not, and I pretty much left the server after that because the map's terrible. Goodbye. So I did promise some chain link earlier, and here it is on Lumpini Gardens. Not a map I play all that often, to be honest. Not even a map I played too much when BF4 was my regular game. Nice map though, I like the visuals of it and the way the train tracks go through the middle. Although it is quite a small map, 64 players on here can get a bit crazy at times. And I think this was 32 players though, which is a much better pace and balance. And I'm playing with the JNG 90, which is a sniper rifle I enjoy. That enemy sniper in the trains didn't really do himself any favours there. He's an easy target when standing still like that. And I feel as though sniping in BF5 is a lot closer to BF4 than it is to BF1. No more sweet spot for a start, which forces players to aim for the head way more, and as a result, the sniping does feel more skillful. After taking some shots from a distance, I decide to move in a bit closer, and I'm not sure if these two guys had just spawned, but it kind of looked like it. Felt pretty bad for that guy at the back, but well, it is the Wild Wild West out here. First guy got away from me though, and I wasn't having any of that, so with the Magnum in hand I head in, but he's either dead or he's Houdini'd me. And I back out just a little bit to get a feel for the area, see if I can spot any players around. There are a lot of places you could get shot from here. Players could spawn around you, enemies could be up on the train tracks. You've got to have your head on a swivel. But I'm impatient after a while and I move and I want to try and go and capture the point on my own. So in I go, trying to check every last corner of the point, and I'm thinking, well, I could end up running into some guys in here. So I crack out that 44 Magnum. What a beast this weapon is, man, I miss it. Nothing really quite like it in BF1. Then just as I get my JNG 90 back out, I receive another gift. An enemy player spawns in the huts. And this is a sad tale. He's had a bad day. Sadly for me, he isn't the only one, and what follows can only be described as a ring around the roses, but in this story it ends with a no-scope to the face. A happy ending for one of us, but then I got killed anyway, so swings and roundabouts, I guess. And then we move over to Zavod on Rush. I'm already being sneaky beaky, like trying to get to the AMCOM and arm it, which I manage because, well, apparently no one was defending it. Although I have to admit, I was fully expecting someone to have C4 on it and blow me to smithereens as soon as it was armed, because for the most part that seemed to be my experience with Rush in BF4. I do have mixed feelings about Zavod actually. I love it and I hate it at the same time if that's possible. We used to play it in competitive quite a lot and I enjoyed it on domination, mainly because the fighting takes place between the two factories and just outside them, and that for me is the best part of this map. There are a few other flags that are fun as well, but for me the factories are the best part. But when I play this map now that I'm on Conquest, I don't enjoy it as much as I used to. I think that's partly due to the vehicles, tanks, APCs, little birds. This map can be a bit much at times. When it works, it really works well. So I'm pretty much just cleaning house here, killing off a few stragglers that are left around the MCOM, and just checking that there isn't anyone still down in the tunnels or around here. Nothing worse than being shot in the back as you're leaving. No one wants to deal with that. Definitely not me. Doesn't seem to be anyone around at first, but then it turns out there is one person left and I can see him on the radar, but I'm not exactly sure where they are. Probably on the roof. We all know about the roof campers on this map. And yes, he's up there and he's lit up like a Christmas tree on the minimap, so maybe we can sneak up there and deal with him. If only the ladders were silent. Even still, he thankfully hasn't heard me stomping around and I give him a taste of my steel. Yoink, he certainly doesn't like that. Now I thought to wrap up the video, we'd play some Gunmaster. I know, what's he doing in here? Well, I don't mind a Gunmaster game every now and again, just as a bit of a change of pace. I really enjoyed Gunmaster in BF3 on the close quarters maps. That was a ton of fun. And I know it's not everyone's cup of tea because, well, battlefield, large scale battles, vehicles and whatnot, but Gunmaster can be quite fun for a few rounds. And Parasail Storm works quite well for it, although is there really any need for that storm to make so much noise? Dice, please. Speaking of, how did he kill me from there? Oh well, we'll never know. And I also happened to win the game, and here's the proof. But first, check out this insta-gib. Bosh. What happened there? Went to knife the guy and he just internally combusted. Turns out he was killed by someone else, but I still like to think it was me that did that. What about this maneuver though? I see the guy down there. How am I going to get behind him? I dash over the barrier in 2 attempts, mind you. Get around the back. Boom, Bob's your uncle, smooth as you like. And there is the winning kill. So there it is, boys and girls. I hope you like that. A bit more analytical than last time, but I like to keep changing the content up, keep you on your toes. And BF4 just never gets old though. It's an absolute beauty. Thank you for watching, and another thanks to Intel for sending over that gaming laptop we were playing on today. Once again, if you want to know more about gaming on the go with Intel processors, there's a link down in the description below. And that's all for today, folks. If you enjoyed the video, give me a like. If you didn't, a dislike. Subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one.